Welcome, Stashers, to another episode of Stache Sports. Happy St. Patrick's Day. See, look, I'm wearing green. For today's episode, we're going to be going over the big trade by Miami traded Jalen Waddle to the Denver Broncos, my reaction to that trade, and what I think it's going to do to the NFL, to the Denver Broncos, and to the Miami Dolphins now, and how I think it affects the Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos in a whole. Also, we'll go over the World Baseball Classic final tonight between USA and Venezuela, and who I think is going to win, and who I think will score for the United States of America, and how I think the game will go. And we'll also go over the players that are on the MLB team for Venezuela, since we did it already for the United States. If you need to see that, you can go back into a different video and watch that. Also today, we'll talk about the college basketball bracket. If you guys want to do a college basketball bracket, please leave it down below in the comments. And we'll discuss it later if you guys want to do one. But you guys have to have this discussion done before Wednesday night, because Thursday is when the brackets close by lunchtime. I mean, you can do it by that, but the bracket for me, if I try to send you an invite to do it, will close on Wednesday night when I go to bed. Or Wednesday night at 10 p.m., I guess, is when they close. I mean, I know they close on Thursday, but I'm not going to be trying to send invites the morning of. So if you guys want to do a bracket, let me know. Also, we'll talk about the college basketball brackets a little bit too. And talk about tonight's NC State game. And the ever playing games tonight to see who moves on to play on. But if you pick that, you pick Texas/NC State or whatever. But we'll get more into that later on in the video too. Also, we'll talk about the Penguins 7-2 win. That's where how we start with the Penguins 7-2 win last night. If you guys want to watch more of this video, please click the link. But anyway, yesterday, the Penguins won 7-2 in Denver. That was quite impressive. That the Penguins won 7-2 in Denver. They got Evgeny Malkin back from his one-game suspension. That's nice that they got Evgeny Malkin back from his game suspension, because Evgeny Malkin was, if you guys forgot, Evgeny Malkin was on a 5-game suspension for slashing one of the Buffalo Sabres players, and got a 5-game suspension for that. So it's good to see Sidney Crosby back. But 7-2, that's impressive. That's the first time the Penguins ever scored. That's the first time the Penguins scored 7 points, I think, against the Colorado Avalanche since they moved to Denver in 1995, they said. They also had four goals on 6 shots to open the game with. That's impressive. Going into the game, for those of you that don't know, if you get 2 points to win, if you get a lot of wins, you get 2 points in hockey. And right now, the Colorado Avalanche are the best team out of every team, Eastern or Western Conference, that plays with the most points. The Penguins are number 2, or the Penguins have a good enough points, but they're still trying to fight to stay in the 2 position in their division behind the Carolina Hurricanes. So they take off today and play tomorrow and hope they can win. But even Arthur Sheloff is looking really good in net last night. I can't believe how good Arthur Sheloff is looking last night. I know he let up 2 goals, but let up 2 goals against a team that's been scoring a lot. That's quite impressive. And only let up 2 goals, and he had a lot of other good saves throughout the whole game. But it was nice to see. The Penguins even chased out the goaltender for Colorado in the first period. They didn't even get to the first period intermission before the Colorado Avalanche was on their backup goaltender. So that's good to see. These young Penguinos are fighting. They're fighting a lot. It's nice to see them do now with Dan Muse. And the turnaround, Anthony Mantha had a goal last night, and now he has the most goals by any player that's on a new team, and set a new career high last night in points and goals. So that's nice to see the additions of Anthony Mantha, but he's going to be a restricted free agent this year. So let's hope that Kyle Dubas can re-sign him, because we don't need Anthony Mantha to walk after him having such a good year. And yes, I know Anthony Mantha can go back to having a bad year next year and fall off a cliff, but right now Anthony Mantha is looking good and looking like he is a true player for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Also, Elmer Sloterman, our new really tall guy, had his first goal for the Penguins last night. It was nice to see Sloterman have a goal for the Penguins. And if Evgeny Malkin coming back from his 5-game suspension, opened up the first goal, and had another goal quick after that, and have 2 goals in the game, had a couple assists. But it's nice to see that too. Also, Erik Karlsson, I can't believe that. Erik Karlsson's finally showing up now for the Penguins. I thought that trade was going to be a giant bust, but Erik Karlsson is really doing good right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 65. He's doing really good. It's going to be interesting to see what they go now for goaltender to see how they do, because Even though he gave up a lot of goals in the comeback win against Utah, Stuart Skinner didn't look as bad. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Penguins and see what they do. I'm excited to see what the Penguins do now. They have a day off and they play the Carolina Hurricanes. But we'll see. It's going to be a tough road now, but they need to keep winning like they do because they have the New York Islanders coming up close on them and other teams, and they don't need to be going down to a wild card position. But not that bad to be doing that without one of your superstars and have a couple games when they came back without Malkin when Malkin's on a 5-game suspension. Let's hope Malkin can keep his head on straight now and not get another suspension because we don't need Malkin to get another suspension. We need Malkin to play really tough right now for the Penguins. We need Evgeny Malkin to come out strong, and we need him to show up high for the Penguins. We don't need Evgeny Malkin to start off slow or start off on a bad foot. Again, we don't need him to get a major penalty and get kicked out because we're in a crucial part of the season right now, and we need all players on their best. But yeah, today we also lost Blake Lizotte, and I saw a report today that Blake Lizotte might have another reevaluation of his injury in week 4. In 4 weeks, excuse me. That's not good. Blake Lizotte is one of the other guys we added this year, and he's looking pretty good too, coming off of a good year. But that's not good. I don't know when we're going to get Sidney Crosby back. I think he's coming back soon for his Penguin fans, but that's not bad. And last night was on ESPN, so that's good too. But he looked good on ESPN, and they won 7-2. But that's quite impressive. But they won 7-2. That's quite impressive, but they won 7-2. Like I said last night, Evgeny Malkin started a goal. Then Nathan McKinnon got a goal right after that, tying it 1-1. And then Anthony Mantha got a goal. And like I said, Anthony Mantha has been really hitting it up this year and really turning around his career and making it a lot better this year than he has in years past. So it's good to see Anthony Mantha turn around. It's interesting. But Anthony Mantha is coming on a prove-it deal, but it's looking really good. I wonder if that's a coaching or if he's just trying really hard. And he's just on the right hot streak right now. I mean, he is really hot on a really hot streak right now. So let's hope we can continue that. I mean, the Penguins looking really good this time, and looking like it might be a good playoff team. Let's hope that's true because the Penguins have been missing the playoffs the last couple of years, and they need to change that. When they have Sidney Crosby, who's arguably one of the best hockey players in the world, and they need to get him couple more legitimate Stanley Cup runs before he hangs it up for good. But let's hope that helps. And then Evgeny Malkin scored again, assisted by Chernov, the guy we got from Columbus. That guy's doing pretty good too. I can't believe how good that guy is. And currently right now, it's still snowing outside here in Pittsburgh, but that's another story. And then Elmer Schulman got a goal, assisted by Connor Duar and Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson had quite the night last night and looked really good for the Penguins. And then Brent Burns had the only ever goal for Colorado at that time. That was 4 goals in the first period. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of goals in the first period. The Penguins scored 4. And Colorado scored 2. And then Erik Karlsson had 1 in the second period. And then Brian Rust had 1 in the second period on the power play. It is good to see Karlsson score. Like I said before, I didn't know how good Karlsson was going to be. Karlsson was coming in as one of the best defense players. His defense is really sharpened up this year, and he's looking really more tougher now. He's looking a lot better. He's looking a lot better now, and a lot better than he has been. But let's hope that he can do that and continue. It is nice to see the Penguins look good last night. It is nice to watch them win and not have to come back and have an easy win. They can just enjoy the last few periods and know they're going to win and not blow it like they have in games past. But it is nice to see them win. Also, in the Noah Charge had an assisted by Schumann and Connor Duar to make it 7-2 in the first period. And that's all they wrote last night. The Penguins have a day off, like I said today. And then they play tomorrow against the Carolina Hurricanes, who are the number 1 team in their division. They need to beat the Carolina Hurricanes and get the 2 much needed points over Carolina. But that'll be in tomorrow's video. So you guys have to watch that to see who I pick. But if you watch my old videos, you know I always pick the Penguins, so it's going to be the Penguins most likely. But whatever. But that's nice to see the Penguins. I mean, it is nice to see Coach Dan Muse in his first year as an NHL head coach look really good. I really do think if the Penguins can continue and definitely do make a good playoff run and continue, if the Penguins continue and make a really good playoff run, I really do think that if the Penguins make a really good playoff run, I really do think that Dan Muse should be GM of the year. Also, I think that Kyle Dubas should be GM of the year. I know that's biased. I know you can say that's biased, and I'm biased, but I think that's good. I mean, heck, the beginning of the year, all the experts, even the local Pittsburgh experts, thought that the Pittsburgh Penguins will be fighting for the number one spot right now, trying to fight for Gavin McKinnon from Penn State in the lottery and not have a good chance because the lottery pick, and it's not like in the NFL where if you have the first pick, we'll get to the NFL here in a minute, but if you have the first pick, it's not like that where you have the first pick and you might be looking for a new player. You have to get in the lottery and hope that they pick you by random and hope that. But now the Penguins are doing good and they turn around. A lot of people, like I said, thought the Penguins to be bad. Me and Pomp thought the Penguins to be good, and I'm glad. I'm glad they're fighting for a playoff spot and not fighting for a first-round draft pick. I'm glad they're trying to do something good. I know Kyle Dubas has been doing really good trades and making the Penguins a lot better. I'm so excited to be a Penguins fan and watch the Penguins this year. And I'm glad they're not in a rebuild and trying to fight like the team we're about to talk here in a couple minutes. That's in a different sport, but we'll talk about here in a couple minutes. Boo, damn. But we'll talk about that team in here in a couple minutes. There's a couple, it's good to see the Penguins doing good and not looking bad. I mean, I'm glad to see them doing good. I can't wait to see when Sidney Crosby comes back. I know he's been out in the Olympic break, and we're not doing as bad. People thought, oh no, and I even thought too bad, oh no, Crosby would be that'd be a big disappointment losing Crosby and losing Malcolm. But the Penguins are fighting and defying all odds, in my personal opinion, and looking really good and making us laugh at and looking good. And showing that they're looking good and showing that they're going against all odds with all these young players. It's nice to see them do good, even when we didn't have Evgeny Malkin in and coming back. And there's a couple games that they did. But it is nice to see the Penguins do good. But now we're on to the next subject. The next subject is about the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos. I woke up to news today that the Miami Dolphins traded yet another player and got rid of him. That's interesting. Now the Miami Dolphins have like $172 million or whatever it is, a lot of money, dead cap money. For those who don't know, dead cap money means money they can't use. The Dolphins are paying a lot of players to pay somewhere else, even now Jalen Waddle. The source is Dolphins are trading Jalen Waddle to Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are sending a first-round pick and a third-round pick for Jalen Waddle and swapping fourth-round picks for Jaden Waddle. Jaden Waddle is one of the top receivers in Miami. Is one of the top receivers and a decent receiver in the NFL. That's a really good trade package. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, it's like the Steelers got Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, I know he's a good receiver, but I know Jalen Waddle's better, but they only got him for a sixth-round pick. So sometimes I'm curious to see if they reach too much. But the Miami Dolphins are now in total rebuild mode, looking to tank for next year's quarterback class. I mean, this guy Malik Willis, who everybody's trying to expect to be good, but now he's the guy to throw to. Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Malik Washington. I mean, they might draft somebody else because this year's draft class is stacked in the receivers pores, but I think the Dolphins are really tanking this year. I don't think that's a good trade. I mean, Jalen Waddle is a young player. You try to build around him, Miami. You don't trade away one of your key players. But now they're paying a lot of players to play somewhere else. I mean, they lost Tua, and he has a $99 million cap hit. That's a lot of dead money. And they always have 100 and whatever now cap hit. But that's quite impressive. I can't believe that they're paying all this money for Tua and all these Dolphin players to leave. It is kind of interesting, but the Miami Dolphins traded away one of their best players. I mean, they're in total rebuild mode. I know they got a new head coach, but it's going to be interesting to see how long he lasts there in this rebuild. And they also got a new GM. He's trading away all of our superstars. Is their superstar running back, Devon Achane, going to be next? What kind of compensation would they get for him? I know some Dolphin fans might like this trade. My friend Robbie's not a big fan. I don't know about Dijon and my other Dolphin fans. If you're a Dolphin fan, let me know in the comments what you think about Jalen Waddle getting traded. I mean, it's good for the Broncos. They have Courtland Sutton now, and they have Waddle, so they have two good receivers to go up in that division against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the top teams in that division. So it is nice to see the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it is nice I don't know. I don't want the Broncos to be as good and take off the Steelers' playoff spot, but we'll see. I mean, they got two good receivers. A lot of people are hyped up on Marvin Mims, but I don't know if Marvin Mims is going to be anything. And really, besides Courtland Sutton, they had a couple other good ones, but now they have a good superstar number 2 receiver who could potentially be a number 1 receiver for the Miami Dolphins. For the Denver Broncos. I had a mouth twist there. But possibly number 1 receiver for the Denver Broncos. But that's nice to see the Denver Broncos trade. The Denver Broncos have been quiet this offseason, and one of the teams that hasn't made any moves, but now they did. I think this is an upgraded move. I know they're trading a number 30 pick, but number 30 is like near the end of the draft, before second round. So they're really just giving a late third round. I mean, I know it's a lot, but we'll see. It's going to depend on how good this out, and it depends on what Miami gets in return from all these deals. I mean, it's not as bad as losing 2 first-round picks like the Ravens traded away, but it's only 1 first-round pick in the 3rd round and a swap in 4th round, so it's not that bad. But like I said, now the Miami Dolphins have over like $100 million in dead cap money, which they can't spend or can't use. That's a lot of dead cap money for the Dolphins, but we'll see. Also, Hollywood Brown and Marquise Brown signed to the Eagles today. That's a good addition. They're also talking about maybe trading A.J. Brown, so we'll see if A.J. Brown stays on the Dolphins. But now with Jalen Waddle getting a 1st and a 3rd and a 4th and swapping 4th rounds, what does that mean for A.J. Brown? People could say A.J. Brown's better, and A.J. Brown deserves more. So it's going to be interesting to see what A.J. Brown gets in the market now if A.J. Brown gets traded in the near future. But they just traded Jalen Waddle. But tonight, the United States of America plays Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. So far, the World Baseball Classic has been pretty good. Venezuela beat Italy last night, came back to beat Italy, or the United States would have had a rematch with Italy, the only team that they lost to so far in the World Baseball Classic. Venezuela's coming in hot, on a good streak. But we'll see. I hope the United States wins tonight. Here are the MLB superstars for the World Baseball Classic Venezuelan team. I'm going to try my best to pronounce their names, so if I mess up, please do not come at me. I got Jose Alvarado, a left-handed pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. Eduardo Bazardo, relief pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, Jose Butto, relief pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. Emmanuel De Jesus, a left-handed pitcher for KT Wiz. Okay, that's not a team. Jonathan Diaz, I don't know that guy, a left-handed pitcher for Seattle Mariners. Carlos Guzman, I know that guy, Guzman, he plays for the Mets now. I thought he played for the Yankees, or maybe that's a different guy. Maybe he did play for Yankees. The other is Gomez. I think I've heard that name before. He plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. He might be decent. Andres Machado plays for the Buffaloes. And Kyrie Marte plays for the Detroit Tigers. David Penza plays for the Chicago Bears. Eduardo Rodriguez plays for the Diamondbacks. Antonio Sanchez plays for the Colorado Rockies. Ranger Suarez, I know that guy. He's a left-handed pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He used to play for the Philadelphia Phillies last year, but got recently signed by the Boston Red Sox. He's one of the better pitchers, so that's going to be a good one. So far, I don't know, that's one of the better ones out of all these lists, in my personal opinion. I know there's other ones that are decent, but this is one of the top ones, in my personal opinion, of watching baseball. Onar Mesquita, left-handed pitcher for the Pirates. He's a decent. Pablo Lopez, he's defense, but he's injured and may be replaced. So I guess he's not on the team. William Contreras, he plays for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's one of the top catchers, and so is Salvador Perez. I did not know they were Venezuelan, but they are Venezuelan, and they are decent catchers in the MLB. So those are some MLB players so far. Luis Alvarez, the first base for the Giants. I mean, he's decent. William Contreras plays for the Red Sox. He's pretty decent too. So that's a decent. And so I guess they do have some superstars on this team. I mean, I don't know. I hasn't really been watching Venezuela baseball besides the end of the game last night to see who the United States will play on the intermission of the Penguins game. Malik Garcia, who Kansas City Royals for a baseman. Andres Gomez, second base and shortstop for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Original Suarez, Cincinnati third base. He's pretty good. Suarez is third baseman. I think Suarez is the one the Pirates wanted, but he went to the Reds this year. Even though they have Brian Hayes, he went to the Reds to play first base. Gleyber Torres plays for the Detroit Tigers. Gleyber Torres used to play for the New York Yankees, and he's a decent player too. Igor Tave plays for the Rockies, and he's decent. Weyler Abreu, W-Y-L-E-R, Abreu, plays for the left field for the Boston Red Sox. I mean, he's a pretty decent player for the Boston Red Sox. So we'll see. Ronald Acuna Jr. That's one of the better outfielders and plays for the much hated Atlanta Braves. Excuse me, just kidding. He plays for the Atlanta Braves, and he's one of the best ones. Jackson Chario plays for the Milwaukee Brewers. That guy always gets the Penguins trouble, and he's a decent player. And Javier Sanjaya plays the outfield for the Miami Marlins. I mean, that's decent, but I still think Aaron Judge in the United States players will be a lot better. McLean, McLean, pitches tonight. I think he's a pitcher for an up-and-coming pitcher for the United States, but he pitches for the Philadelphia Phillies. He needs to do a lot better than he did in Italy because he was the one who pitched against Italy and led up that big lead. If he lets up, hopefully they have a short leash on him tonight if he starts getting trouble, because I don't know if the United States can come back with a big lead. I mean, they don't need to have a big lead like that and mess up in this one. They haven't won one, I think they said last night, since 2017, and I think this is the first year that Venezuela has made it to the final. So it's going to be an interesting matchup tonight at 8 o'clock on Fox. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for those of you that watch, that live in Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. It's going to be an interesting play. Here's the USA baseball. We'll go over it again. David Bednar, he is the pitcher of the Pirates. Good reliever. He's a setup right now. He's a setup for Mason Miller. Matthew Boyd has a real pitch. Garrett Cleaver, who pitched for Tampa Bay Rays. Clay Holmes. Griffin Jackson, who did pretty good in the last game, plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. Brad Keller plays for the Philadelphia Phillies. Clayton Kershaw, but he's not on the team. I guess he's retired. Norm McLean, my bad. He plays for the New York Mets. He's the one who's pitching tonight, but I was still right that Norm McLean was the one who pitched against Italy and let up that big lead, so he needs to do a lot better tonight and not mess up that big lead. Mason Miller, he's our closer right now. He's looking really good. I know a lot of people are going to say, but he pitched the ball there against the Dominican Republic, but I don't think that was a ball. But he has it. Paul Skeens, he pitched. Tyler Screwball, even though he only pitched one game. Gabriel Spider, Michael Walker, Logan Webb, Garrett Whitlock, Boston Red Sox, Ryan Rubu, New York Yankees, Tyler Rogers, Will West, Kyle Riley. I don't know if he's going to play Will Smith. Will Smith has been hitting. Kyle Riley's been on a slump. Said he might start Will Smith tonight. Alex Bergman, Chicago baseman. Paul Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper. Gunnar Henson, he's had home runs for us. Let's hope we can have a home run tonight. Bobby Witt Jr. is doing pretty good too in the outfield. Braxton, Pete Armstrong, Aaron Jett, and our outfielders are Roman Anthony, who plays for the Boston Red Sox and looking pretty good. Brian Braxton, who plays for the Minnesota Twins. Pete Armstrong, who plays for the Chicago Cubs, and Aaron Judge, who plays for the New York Yankees. I mean, all pretty good in the outfield. I think we have a lot stacker team. And Kyle Schwarber is our designated hitter. I think we have a lot better team than Venezuela. I think we win tonight. I think Gunnar Henson has him, and maybe we have an Aaron Judge bomb. Aaron Judge had a close one but got robbed. I think the last game. So I think he comes out and has a big game tonight and has a home run. Let's hope the United States can win. Let's hope Nolan McLean doesn't mess up again. Nolan McLean, like I said, had a couple hits here and there. Had a bad game the last time he played. Had a bad game the last time he played. He did. But let's hope we can have a better game today. Because the United States needs to win this. And needs to show better dominant baseball and needs to have a good game. Here's the March Madness brackets. I've done one already with my friend Ray. I'm going to do another one with my family. So I'll tell you more about my brackets tomorrow and how I think it's going to be upset. But tonight, the 260 teams to see who plays one of the top teams in the college basketball plays tonight. Right now it's a play-in tournament. And like I said, if you guys want to do a bracket, please let me know down below in the comments and I'll set that up. But you gotta let me know before the end of tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. But anyway, if you guys want to do a bracket, please let me know. But tonight doesn't count. It's just a play-in. I mean, if you pick a team, like for instance, NC State. For instance, we start with NC State, Texas. If NC State beats Texas, then they're playing. They're playing BYU. I'm pretty sure. So you pick Texas / NC State over BYU, and then after tonight we'll have NC State in there or Texas. Whoever decides to win that game. I think NC State's gonna win. NC State did make a lot of noise last year, so will NC State make a lot of noise again this year? I mean, they are one of the top teams for 2013. And Texas is 18-14. And Texas is 18-14 coming into GameCast. Right now, according to ESPN, NC State has a 52% chance to win, and Texas has a 94% chance to win. These teams could make a noise if they move on, depending on how good they are. This could be maybe an upset, but I don't know yet. I'll have to talk more about that tomorrow. But this could be a possible upset, whoever decides to win this one. NC State Wolfpack is an open -120. But we'll see. But we'll see. Whoever wins the NC State game will be playing BYU. We'll be playing BYU, I'm pretty sure. But we'll talk about that more later. So I think NC State beats Texas tonight. I think the ACC looks better against the SEC tonight. I think it's going to be a close game. It starts at 9:15. NC State against Northwestern on Texas on True TV. But I think the NC State Wolfpack win tonight, and I think they hold off and move on to play BYU, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. I mean, NC State made a lot of noise last year. Maybe Texas, if they move on, they could be an upset. I mean, I know there's going to be some upsets, and I know I'm picking these teams because they're a little more stacked with the transfer portal than like a UBMC, in my personal opinion. But maybe UBMC, one of these other teams in a couple minutes I didn't read about, will move on. But I think NC State moves on and plays BYU. I think they win their playing game. But like I said, the playing games don't count against the brackets. The brackets lock Thursday at 12. But if you guys want to do bracket and win me tonight invitations, that locks Wednesday night at 10 p.m. and 12 in the afternoon Thursday. UBMC plays Howard. Howard won the conference, and so did UBMC. There's a 216 team on 8-2 beat at 6 p.m. I don't know, that's tough. Howard and UBMC. UBMC is 24-8, and Howard is 23-10. Howard is a -1.5 right now to win. Howard has a 44% chance to win, and UBMC has a 59% chance to match the bracket right now before the game even starts. I don't really know. I'll just say Howard because that's a cool name. I'll pick Howard to win that, but I don't know if Howard's going to make it much further in this playing game, if I'm going to be quite honest. Because there's 16 teams, so they're going to be playing one of the top seeded teams in the conference, or in the March Madness, if they win this playing game. So I think whoever wins the playing game between UBMC and Howard are just going to be winning that game in Dayton, Ohio, and they'll be going home Friday night or Thursday night whenever they play their second game in the conference, technically. Since I technically count the playing games as conference, as March Madness games. Let me slow down. Since these playing games count as March Madness games, I do think Texas and NC State, they could maybe go on and make a name for themselves in the play-in tournament so far out of tonight's games. They could make a name for themselves, and maybe whoever wins that game, and maybe upset BYU in the next round. I'm pretty sure that's what they play. They can maybe upset BYU in the next round and move on to the round of 32. But I don't know if that's going to happen. They could maybe even make it to the Sweet 16 or something if they upset BYU. But that's the one that's going to be on high. That's the one that's a little more on high. That's the one that's a little bit more on my little bit of a high and upset alert, depending on who wins tonight. I mean, I know I filled out one of my brackets, and I might do more brackets tonight, but I can always switch it before Thursday night or before a Tuesday. And if you guys want to do brackets, like I said, you got to let me know before Wednesday night. But anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know how or UBMC is going to do it. These are smaller teams that don't play in those better conferences. I know Texas plays in the SEC, and NC State plays in the ACC. So those are better conferences. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to depend on how good they do. I mean, I know there could be some upsets, but I just don't know how good Howard and UBMC do. I mean, maybe that's why I never get a good bracket right. I mean, there's only been 1 year where one kid that had special needs, I think was on the spectrum, had Down on the spectrum or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. But it's only 1 year with one kid I think almost got a perfect bracket. You might have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting a perfect bracket. But I do like doing it for fun. I just do it for fun. So that's what our brackets will be, just for fun, just to see who wins. Because ESPN app adds the points. So if you guys want to do it, it just adds the points to it. And then you guys come up with your picks and just add the points and we'll see who does it for fun. I just like to do it for fun. And it makes the games more interesting because then you have, even if you don't bet on it, you're like, oh, I picked Duke to go all the way or whatever. And if they lose, then you're upset or you're happy if Duke makes it past the first round and keeps going on because that's your champion or whatever, or vice versa, whatever team you pick. And if you have some of these upsets, like if you have UCF over UCLA, then you're happy if they win, or you're upset if they burst a record. But I just do it for fun. I like doing it for fun. I don't do it for money, but I like doing it for fun. But like I said, I think UBMC beats. I think Howard wins, and I think NC State wins. But I think NC State or Texas could have more of an impact on busting people's brackets than UBMC or Howard, whoever decides to win that game. Oh, last night, the Boston Celtics looked really good. Jaylen Brown had 40 points. Jaylen Brown's looking like a real MVP right now since he's been one of the main focus points on the Boston Celtics with the injury of our superstar Jason Tatum, but he's looking really good right now, so let's hope he can continue. But I think the Heat beat the Hornets tonight. I think the Thunder beat the Magic. I think the Pistons beat the Wizards. I think the Pacers beat the Knicks. I think the Cavaliers beat the Bucks. I think the Suns beat the Timberwolves. I think the Nuggets beat the Sixers. And I think the Spurs beat the Wild Kings tonight. Those are good games, but we'll see. Those are my picks. And last but not least, we're doing my NHL picks, because I can't remember if I did them before. If I did, I'll just do them again. I got the Bruins over the Canadiens, back-to-back games. That's going to be tough for the Bruins, coming off a tough loss last night versus the New Jersey Devils. But I think they bounced back and went tonight against the Canadiens. I got the Blackhawks over the Wild. I got the Sabres upsetting the Knights. I got the Toronto Maple Leafs helping the Penguins and beating the Islanders tonight. I got the Blue Jackets over the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes over the Blue Jackets. I got the Jets over the Predators. I got the Oilers over the Sharks. But the Oilers lost Leon Draisaitl today to a season-ending injury, and he's out for the rest of the season. So that's going to be a tough blow for the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know if the Edmonton Oilers are really looking for a playoff spot right now, but that's going to be a tough blow for them. I got the Panthers over the Canucks tonight. And I got the Lightning over the Kraken. That's going to be a tough game. Lightning coming into the Eastern Conference. But like I said, if you guys want to do a bracket, please let me know down below. I hope the United States wins tonight. I think Aaron Judge is going to have a home run. I think Gunnar is going to have a home run. I think Anthony might have another home run. But if they get people on bases like they did in the United States, if they get people on bases like they did against the Dominican Republic, I know the Dominican Republic has a lot more major superstars But don't count out Venezuela. They have a lot of good superstars, like I said in this video. So don't count out Venezuela. But I think if the United States wins tonight, I think they win good. And I think it's a good game. Let's hope Nolan McLean has a good game. If not, let's hope they have a good bullpen. And they go to the bullpen a lot sooner. And they go to the bullpen a lot sooner. We need them to start hot tonight. And if they have people on base like they did against Dominican Republic, we need them to make sure they get more people around it too. And make sure if they have home runs that people on base and get the people on base and not leave people on base like they did last time against Dominican Republic. But last time the United States can win. It's going to be an interesting game tonight, and I'll be watching that too to see who wins. But this is Stache Sports signing off. Thank you for watching every episode of Stache Sports. Like I said, if my stashes are on the deep bracket, please let me know. But thank you for watching my videos. This is Stache Sports signing off.